Welcome to Hotline Miami 2, Wrong Door. Where else are you going to get your fill of pixelated blood and murder? I had just finished Hotline Miami 1 when I decided to purchase the second, and I can safely say, Donation did not disappoint. If you haven't watched my Q review of Hotline Miami 1, and you've been living in a cave in the lofty hills of Ecuador, the Hotline Miami series follows the exploits of rather unstable fellows on their quest to paint the town red, walls to ceiling. In Hotline Uno, it was one dude called Jacket. In Hotline Duo, there's plenty of dudes to have a go with, all with different playstyles. Hotline Miami 2 takes the route of Sonic Adventure and gives us a terrible yet addicting soundtrack. I mean, it follows multiple characters on a similar story path. The two games revolve around 50 Blessings, a neo-nationalist massacre organisation that's about 2 loose screws away from the NRA. After Jacket's disposal of the Russian mob in the first game, we're treated to the aftermath of his actions revolving around a movie adaptation, a desperate writer reporting the truth, a crooked cop, and a bunch of overzealous Jacket fanboys. The large variety of playable characters, some of which I haven't even mentioned, give each level a freshness, making you adjust your playstyle for each situation. The controls mirror the first. Left to use weapon, right to relinquish weapon into enemy's face, space to finish off enemy in a creative way with a combination of your foot and their head. It's all very easy and fluid, and I love it. The swift movement of each character keeps the pacing quick and frantic, with the instant resurrection bringing an addictiveness to each encounter. The subtle mix between speed and style is carried over, and it still rocks my socks clean off. One of the very few stated complaints by critics was that the music of the game was quite poor compared to the first one, and to be fair, I kind of agree. Both games have their memorable tracks, and both games have their boring ones. Hotline 2 did suffer from a weaker soundtrack in my opinion, but there's still some hits in there that'll have you caving skulls and popping caps with a bob of your head and a smile on your face. Although richer and longer than the first, Hotline Miami 2's story seemed rather disjointed at times. Some characters were rather shallow and were given no resolution. Although still very deep and mystifying, I found myself not as engrossed as I was with the linear escapades of Jacket in the first instalment. Things ramp up in the trippy factor, but I never found myself asking as many questions. Things seem to be a bit more grounded here, something I really can't explain. However, my main gripe, and this is probably just me here, but you never know, is the doors. Seriously, the doors in this game drove me nuts. I honestly don't know what it was, but they seem so buggy and weird. I find over half my deaths were because doors would randomly swing open when a guy brushes by them, or they'll block shots out of nowhere. Sometimes doors would swing right through people, or they'd even absorb my thrown weapons as they tried to pass through. Another negative point is the ending. Now I won't spoil it, but god, that ending was disappointing. It felt like a bit of a cop-out, to be honest. It tied everything together, but it felt lazy. It's not Mass Effect 3 pre-director's cut bad, but it's still quite bad. Furthermore, the collectibles in this game are severely lacking. Nothing like the puzzle pieces or the masks of the first game. Does it mean I consider Hotline Miami 2 a poor game? Absolutely not. Hotline Miami 1 was over far too quickly, and 2 steps up to give us more of the frantic, fatal frenzy that we fell in love with. And now we get to do it all over again with a retro electric soundtrack, gorgeous visuals, and bucketfuls of charming dark humour. You will like this game if you like Hotline Miami 1, murderous rampages, and random phone calls. Hotline Miami 2, Wrong Number, receives an Indie Bin recommendation.